I'm having such a good time, and I'm not knowing I'm drinking, I'm doing everything you could possibly imagine. And then I get a call, and on the other end of the phone says, "Hi, Jamie Foxx." So who's this? This is Oprah.
Uh-oh.
You're blowing it, Jamie Foxx.
Oh, really? What a nice thing for her to do.
You're blowing it. I said, what do you mean? She says, all of this gallivanting and all this kind of, that's not what you want to do. She said, I want to take you somewhere, so make you understand the significance of what you're doing. Flash forward to now, Oprah Winfrey tells me, we go to Quincy Jones' house. He says, hey, man, listen, man, you're doing good, man. We just don't want you to blow it, baby. So we go in the house, and there's all these old actors, black actors from the 60s and the 70s, who look like they just want to say good luck. They want to say, don't blow it.
Wow.
And I was like,
I mean, it's almost like an intervention.
Yeah. Because listen, you know me, I was going hard. I'm not playing. And then Oprah says, okay, you want to meet who you're supposed to meet here? I said, yeah. He's right there. And it was Sidney Poitier.
I was going to say, I bet you they brought out Sidney Poitier.
Standing in a tuxedo.
I'm having such a good time, and I'm not knowing I'm drinking it, I'm doing everything you could possibly imagine on, and then I get a call, and on the other end of the phone says, hi, Jamie Foxx. Who's this? This is Oprah. Oh, you're blowing it, Jamie Foxx. Oh, really? What a nice thing for her to do. You're blowing it. I said, what do you mean? She says, all of this gallivant and all this kind of, that's not what you want to do. Said, I want to take you somewhere, so make you understand the significance of what you're doing. Flash forward to now, Oprah tells me we go to Quincy Jones' house. He says, hey man, listen man, you're doing good man. We just don't want you to blow it, baby. So we go in the house, and there's all these old actors, black actors from the 60s and the 70s who look like they just want to say good luck. They want to say don't blow it. Wow. And I was like, they like, it's almost like an intervention. Yeah, cause listen, you know me, I was going hard, I'm not playing. And then Oprah says, okay, you want to meet who you supposed to meet here? I said, yeah, he's right there. And it was Sidney Poitier. I was going to say, I bet you they brought out Sidney Poitier standing in a tuxedo. Child, I know that I have heard enough in Hollywood to know that it's a crazy place. But the allegation that Jamie Foxx and Sidney Poitier may have had a thing was definitely not on my bingo card. Allegedly, after Oprah Winfrey took Jamie to Sidney, he did more than just give Jamie advice about his career, and he allegedly messed with Jamie just like he did with many other people in the industry. Sidney P. asked the people to buy into the system. Sam Cooke said, we need to break the system and create a new one. Who lived? Sidney Poitier was in love with Eartha Kitt, and she wasn't even a dark-skinned black woman, but she was a black woman. And do you know what he told her? What is me being in love with you and walking around Beverly Hills with you going to do for my career? Okay, I know for a lot of people it's probably hard to believe that Sidney Poitier was anything other than amazing. His background and how he rose through the ranks has actually been a great inspiration to many people in Hollywood. This is someone who when he was 12 quit school and became a water boy for a crew of pick and shovel laborers, but when he began getting into mischief, his parents worried that he was becoming a juvenile delinquent and sent him to Miami when he was 14 to live with his married brother Sil. Then in less than a year he fled Miami for New York, arriving with $3 and change in his pocket, and he took jobs washing dishes and working as a ditch digger, waterfront laborer and delivery man in the district. Unfortunately for Sidney, things were not as easy as he thought they would be, and he would save most of his money so that on cold nights he could sleep in pay toilets. While in his interview, Sidney said that he always knew he wanted to be an actor, and when he read about an audition in New York, he tried his luck, but unfortunately, it was a flop. He only had a few years of schooling, could not read properly, and he had a heavy West Indian accent, and because of that, Frederick O'Neill, a founder of the theater, showed him the door and advised him to get a job as a dishwasher. He did work as a dishwasher, but he also bought a radio and practiced speaking English as he heard it from a variety of staff announcers. In addition, a fellow worker at the restaurant where he washed dishes helped him with his reading, and he finally won a place in the theater's acting school, but only after he volunteered to work as a janitor without pay. Then one day another actor at the theater, Harry Belafonte, did not show up for a rehearsal attended by a Broadway producer, and when Sidney took the stage instead, he was given a part in the production. From then, Sidney had a tremendous impact in the entertainment world and on American culture as a whole, as the first black actor to reach major stardom on the big screen. As far as what he achieved, he received his first Oscar nomination in 1958 for The Defiant Ones, and in 1963, he took home the Best Actor award for Lies of the Field. In addition, in recognition of his unique and groundbreaking career, he was also given an honorary Oscar at the 74th Academy Awards in 2002. Other than this, former President Obama bestowed him an honor in 2009 for his contributions to American cinema and culture, and Queen Elizabeth II gave knighthood to him in 1974, giving him the title Sir Sidney Poitier. In the UK in 1967, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. also paid tribute to him, saying he is a man of great depth, a man of great social concern, a man who was dedicated to human rights and freedom. In addition, after moving back to the Bahamas and later life, he was also asked to serve as ambassador from 1997 to 2007. And he also served as the ambassador to the UN's UNESCO organization. Of course, he is also credited for helping other people in the industry reach their potential as well. Sounds like someone who was a beacon, especially for the black community. Right, well, allegedly, just like the many men who pioneered the industry, Sidney took advantage of some of those men he mentored in the industry, just like it has been said about people like Quincy Jones. Apparently, there even used to be a rumor in Black Hollywood and Baldwin Hills that if Sidney Poitier showed up to your party, it's because he was watching you, and allegedly one of the people Sidney took advantage of was Jamie Foxx. As for how they even crossed paths, in one of his interviews, Jamie Foxx was looking back at his career in film, music and television, and he admitted to being an embarrassment for part of the 2004-2005 award season, during which he eventually won the Academy Awards Best Actor. He was like, "When I was up for the Oscar, I didn't take it seriously at all. I thought there was no way to win, that I took it as an excuse to be. I was like, oh, I'm nominated, break out the champagne and let's buy." Remember having paparazzi on me for the first time. I remember going absolutely nuts. I went to the Golden Globes and there was champagne involved, and I was just wrong on the red carpet. I was disrespectful to the process. Jamie actually also remembered attending the Globes with a friend and being nominated for multiple awards that year. Then on the red carpet, he and his friend were screaming the number of awards they were up for that evening in a way Jamie Foxx said was so extremely immature that his publicist called him and yelled at him for his behavior. According to Jamie Foxx, Oprah told him he was blowing it, and then he said that she wanted to take him somewhere so he could understand the significance of what he was doing. That's when she took him to meet Sidney Poitier and Quincy Jones, and while doing impressions of the two men, Jamie Foxx said that Quincy Jones told him to buckle down and that he was messing everything else up, and he specifically told him, "You can do it, man, we're counting on you, baby." Jamie also said that Sidney told him that watching his performance as Charles made him grow artistically, and he also challenged him to exercise responsibility, saying, "From now on throughout your career you be responsible for what you give and what you show, and I have done as best as I can to sort of live up to that, because it is very wow." And he says, "And I give something to you. I give you responsibility that from now on throughout your career you'll be responsible for what you give and what you show, and I have done as best I can to sort of live up to that, because it is very important." But word on the street is that after Sidney advised Jamie Foxx, they started hanging out more often and allegedly even formed an intimate relationship. And while he may have appeared to be a solid dude, people is saying that Sidney was actually a horrible person, and the only reason why there isn't so much dirt on him is because social media wasn't really a thing in his prime. But that doesn't mean that there haven't been some things that have been uncovered. Remember when he started having an affair with Diane Carroll that lasted from much of the 1960s after they met, when they were both cast in the movie musical Poor Jess. At the time, Sidney was married to his first wife Juanita Hardy, with whom he had 4 daughters, and Carroll, then aged 24, was married to music manager Monty Kaye. Then in her bombshell 2008 memoir The Legs Are the Last to Go, Carroll claimed that in 1963 Sidney promised he would leave his wife for her. He then allegedly convinced her that she too should get a divorce so that they could openly be together, and she kept her end of the bargain and split from her husband and prepared herself to move into a 10-room apartment on Riverside Drive that Sidney Poitier had paid for. But she said that Sidney called her to say that he was having second thoughts about their romance and was not going to leave his wife. Carroll also wrote in the book, "Our wedding plans would have to be postponed when the apartment was ready, and I was about to move my daughter in with me. Told me he didn't want her there. He changed the lock so I couldn't get into the Riverside Drive apartment. Then he made me write him a check to offset his purchase and decorating costs. I did as I was told." Submissive and desperate. Well, Sidney ended up splitting with his wife Juanita Hardy in 1965. But he told Carroll that he did not want to jump straight into another marriage, and because Sidney told her that he was not about to jump into another relationship, Carroll started dating other men. But that's where they started having problems, because Carroll wrote in her memoir that Sidney called her at her hotel, hurled all sorts of nasty insult at her, and then yelled, I know he just left your bed. I won't have you running around with other men. You belong to me. I mean, it sure sounds like he was a very possessive man, and I know I have heard rumors that he also put his hands on the women he was with. Allegedly, this is why if you ask Jaguar